Wanted to tell you about a gentleman who is walking across America, former naval officer David Voigts, and he is with us now on KTRS. David, welcome to KTRS. How are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing fine. So where did you start your walk, and where do you plan on ending up?
I started the walk in a place called Rouge, Delaware, just there at Cape May, the second week of May. I've hiked here to St. Louis, and I'm going to continue on U.S. Highway 50 to California, ending on a beach north of the Golden Gate Bridge.
North of the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, you started in Delaware. Is that your home base?
No, it's the start of a cross-country trail called the American Discovery Trail. It's kind of like the Appalachian Trail. It goes coast to coast, roughly following U.S. Highway 50, going through national and state parks.
All right, so what are the rules or restrictions? Are you hitchhiking? Can you take a ride, or is it all going to be on foot?
Hey, I have taken rides at some points, but this is a public awareness campaign more than anything. And I'm hiking with my dog, and I've got a large, what they call a backpack billboard. It's kind of like an advertising sign that lights up.
What has been the most harrowing, or have there been any tough moments so far? You got stuck out in the rain or lightning?
Yeah, they had some flooding in West Virginia. I guess it was in June there, and we had to put up the tent pretty quickly. And then we had the river by us rose about 8 feet. And canceled a PGA Tour event out there, and lots of flooding, and I'd say that was probably the most dangerous point.
And what's the time frame from start to finish? How long do you think you'll be on the road?
I've got about 93 more days of hiking to finish up there, and it should take me to right around Christmas time.
So what can you cover in a day? How many miles?
Ideally, I'd like to go between 18 and 22 miles. Anything more, it's blisters, and it's hard to recover and repeat that day after day.
And at the end of the night, you're camping out every night?
Camping out or in a hotel. It just depends on what if we're able to talk with reporters and whatnot.
Okay, and then tell us about your duty. You were in the Navy. What did you do? Where did you serve?
Yeah, I was a former naval officer, graduated the United States Naval Academy, have a degree in control systems engineering, and I worked in electronics warfare and nuclear engineering jobs as a surface warfare officer.
All right, and you mentioned your cause. You're raising awareness, so tell our listeners what your cause is.
So while I was in the service, I found out that there is an ongoing, non-consensual human experiment, and it's testing a human-machine interface weapon. So there's great positive benefits from this technology. I usually give a couple examples, one of them being the work of Miguel Nicolelis, who's a professor down at Duke University. Before the 2014 World Cup, he brought together 150 engineers and doctors and built an exoskeleton for a man that is a paraplegic. And with modern technology, we have the ability to do brain decoding with a given input, known audio or visual input, and strong general equations and computing power and a comparative sample, we can get output information. And so they were able to, through thought alone, the guy was able to stand up in this exoskeleton and do the opening kick to the 2014 World Cup soccer match. Another good example is it was about, I think, 2 months ago now that the Ohio State University did a similar brain decoding scheme where a guy had been paralyzed for something like 5 years, I think. And they were able to put a power unit on his forearm and repower his forearm through thought alone. And there's lots of technology. You can buy toys on Amazon right now that you can buy like a thought-controlled toy helicopter. So this is kind of a technology that I guess the military has had as a weapon since the 70s, using like interrogation, special warfare, spycraft, that sort of stuff. And it might be illegal in that context. But there is a group here in the United States that are non-consenting human subjects for the testing of this weapon, and they're calling themselves targeted individuals. It's kind of the colloquial term on the internet, and it's topical right now because with the Baton Rouge shooting, there's now been 4 major shootings related to this program. And I've done everything I can, talking with media, talking to a Associated Press reporter a couple weeks ago. He's been digging into it. And we have all the information, but it's just the public's not quite aware of where brain decoding technology is and how bidirectional human-machine interface works.
Well, it's a lot to digest, and for some folks, it's probably over their head. So give me you're would I be painting it correctly though? You're upset because the U.S. is doing this to people against their will, correct?
Yeah, we have a Bill of Rights, and like the Tuskegee experiment, atomic radiation experiments, and then the dosing of people with LSD under the MK Ultra, those were all condemned. And they put, some doctors, from, the World War II in Nuremberg, they put some of these guys to death for some of the experiments that they were doing.
Are these people?
Camps. And here we are in 2016, and we have this behavior still going on.
Well, are they? And I'm sorry to interrupt, but are these people like prisoners somewhere, or how is the government getting access?
Surprisingly, it's like 70%. Single women who live alone, middle-aged. They're always looking for someone that can't fight back or is not going to be able to explain what's happening to them very well.
And what's the goal? So they get to these people, unwilling subjects. What's their goal? To use them to carry out certain things?
Yeah, if you look at the old MK Ultra, there was a final report. There was a congressional hearing in '77, and they were looking for devices that would cause malingering, things that would make people seem discredited, and then they're looking for it's pretty some insidious stuff. They're looking for like romantic partners for spycraft, I guess, and then they're looking for people to kind of do some horrible crimes, like we saw there in Baton Rouge and at the Navy Yard and Florida State University. That's
so like the shooting in Baton Rouge. You're saying that person that carried out the killings was somebody that the government had programmed?
Yeah, same thing with like a Ted Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski was part of the MK Ultra program. The Gavin Long and Aaron Alexis and Myron May, those people were all part of this program.
So how difficult is it to deliver this message without people telling you, hey, listen, you're crazy. This is not happening.
It's not too bad because, I've researched it for so well. And, I've got some credentials and background, and I'm able to explain it well enough that people can, pick up the research papers and kind of understand what I'm explaining to them.
And what is their ultimate goal? Is just to have people that they can control, and then they can have them do whatever they need them to do?
They want them to give up. It's like a torture program. They want them to submit to, and then I guess they tell them what to do for whatever end they're after.
Have you had any feedback from the government or military as you start talking more about this?
No, this is in one of these things that are in science fiction mode right now. They're not going to have any admit that this technology exists, and then at some point in the future there'll be a congressional hearing, and some future president will apologize for.
Have you reached out to any politicians to see if they'll take it up?
No, that's been done in the past. This group there are support groups that have petitioned Congress. They've gone to CIA and NSA and FBI, and they just politely say, we'll take a look into it, and nothing ever comes of it. So I'm trying to take the approach of, why don't we get some public awareness on this issue, and then there's testing that can be done. I think if we put these folks in an MRI machine, we ought to be able to come up with a way to sort of detect what's native and non-native bioelectrical signature.
David Voigts, our guest here, former naval officer, walking across America in the greater St. Louis area. The awareness is for targeted individuals. And again, it's a lot to kind of digest or wrap your head around. Do you have a website or Facebook where people can find out more?
I do. I have, you can reach me at my name, David Voigts, Voigts on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, TI in America Cross Country Walk, and a GoFundMe page, TI in America Cross Country Walk.
David, hey, thanks for hopping on. Whereabouts are you right now?
I'm still in St. Louis. I'll be heading out to, I think, Ellisburg and then Union, Missouri will be the next two stops over the weekend.
And people may even pass you on the highway then, see you walking along. All right, well, hey.